Hello friends, see you again in our 2021's horror thriller movie collection, The Thing Inside Us. Just before we start the journey with this great movie, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that you won't miss the updates from our channel. This is a movie about a husband and wife in Springfield, Louisiana in 2019. In their house, there are some cameras installed to see the wife's sleepwalking habit. In the middle of the night, the wife wakes up with blank eyes and she walks to the porch and just stands there. In the morning, the husband who cannot find his wife on the bed wants to look for her. He comes to the camera which records their sides of the bed and walks out holding it. He gets out and starts recording while saying that he finds his wife, Shelly, every morning at the porch, looking at the sky with a blank stare. He then nudges her to wake her up. He then starts talking with his wife about when this started. It happened 2.5 years ago, a week after they're out of the hospital. When they're talking, there's breaking news on TV reporting about the Livingston virus or LV pandemic. It's brought by mosquitoes, and Shelly reminds Daniel to hang on the zapper lamp to repel mosquitoes. When Daniel is spraying her house outside to keep the mosquitoes away, the owner of his house comes. He tells Daniel to pay for the rent as soon as possible. He also asks about what Shelly is doing at the porch in the morning. Daniel then tells him that she sleepwalks. He's not caring about that and just wants Daniel to keep it by himself or they should just leave the house. Daniel then records her wife injects herself with something. It seems like it can help them to get pregnant. Daniel then records a video and says that he keeps all the things inside and outside of their house recorded. He then uploaded it on the channel called Married to a Sleepwalker so that people can also share their experience on this. Daniel then has an idea to install an alarm under his wife so that when Shelly starts to get out of bed, the alarm will go off and wake her up. He gets the idea from a fan in the channel where he uploads the video of Shelly. In the night, Shelly sleepwalks again and the alarm goes off. But she doesn't wake up and instead, it wakes Daniel up. Daniel then follows Shelly with his camera. And when he tries to wake her up, Shelly catches his hand and lets out a strange sound and wakes up. When Daniel shows the video to Shelly, she even makes jokes about the sound, saying that she can't make out the same sound at all. When they rewind the video to the start, they saw that Shelly turns back when she's about to arrive at her usual spot. The hand that Shelly grabs before is swollen. Daniel says that they should talk about this with Dr. Lopez, but Shelly disagrees. She thinks Dr. Lopez doesn't help and costs money. Daniel then replays several videos and there unravels the start of the story. Daniel and Shelly have lost their house and money because of this sleepwalking problem. At first, Daniel almost dies because of the LV virus, but then he survives. After that, Shelly has a sleepwalking problem for the first time. At that time, she's 1 month pregnant, and then she lost the baby on the second day. Daniel then replays another video. In that video, he believes there's someone there, in the dark. When he calls Shelly to look at it together, Shelly says she can't see it. And she says it's impossible to be a person there. Daniel then screenshots the video and asks people on the internet whether it's a person or not. Daniel then opens some emails and one of them says to tie her up. And he did. Shelly appears aggressive when he ties her down, screaming and pulling her hand hard, and it bleeds. Another email from Mary Q says that her husband also sleepwalks and he can try to lock the door then hide the key. A week after that, Daniel says that Shelly is not getting better, but worse. She sleeps longer and even during the day. And she starts to do a weird thing like watering the yard. She also throws out the spray that Daniel uses to get rid of mosquitoes. Today when Daniel is going to go to the office, Shelly is watching static on the TV and she says that she heard something. He's worried about her, but Shelly says that she's okay. But when Daniel comes home that day, he sees Shelly sleepwalk again and she swings the knife on the cutting board. When he tries to wake Shelly up, she swings the knife to his neck. Then Shelly wakes up. And she acts like there's no problem at all. Daniel then installs a padlock to the door and he will hide the key. Shelly says that this is not a good idea, but Daniel still insists. Shelly also says that the voice in her head doesn't like this. When they have a meal, they have a little argument. Shelly then asks when was the last time they felt carefree, and Daniel says that it's right before he's sick. In the night, Shelly sleepwalks again and cannot open the doors. She then finds the door and opens it. When she stands in her usual place, she sees the zapper lamp and turns it off. The next day they talk about it. Shelly doesn't know how she knows where he has hidden the key. Daniel also asks why she turns off the zapper, but she doesn't know why. She then says that they should try this thing again. See if she can find the key again. So on the second night, Daniel hides the key in another place, and Shelly directly finds it in that place before opening the door. So does on the third, fourth, and fifth night. She successfully finds the key without Daniel letting her know where he keeps it. Shelly concludes that whatever is inside her head is doing everything so that Shelly does what they want her to do. Shelly then tells Daniel to let Dr. Lopez see the video tomorrow. Shelly then leaves Daniel there, where he sees videos about the LV virus. He then hears sounds, and he gets out with his camera. There he finds Shelly trying to open the door. Because it's locked, she then stops and opens her mouth, where a strange sound comes out. She then once again magically finds where Daniel stores the key and opens it. She sees Daniel and hits him and lets out a male voice to say not to follow her. Daniel keeps trying to follow Shelly, and suddenly Shelly hits Daniel with something. She warns him again not to follow her. Daniel gets up and tries to follow Shelly. She walks far, and it seems like he lost track. He then hears a weird sound, but can't find anything. He still can't find Shelly until dawn, and when he comes back, Shelly's already home. He then tells Shelly what happened, and they thought getting her admitted to the hospital would be the best. At this time, Daniel gets another email from Mary Q. She asks if Shelly can find the key, and this makes Daniel feel shocked. He asks if her husband also finds the key, and if she knows what actually happens. Mary says she knows, but she's not ready to share. Then a call from Dr. Lopez comes. He says that Shelly needs to stop taking fertility drugs since they can cause sleepwalking. He also says that Daniel has to stop taking videos of his wife because he doesn't have the medical qualification to do that. This makes Daniel want to stop recording videos, but Shelly disagrees. She says that she wants Daniel to keep her inside the house tonight. When Shelly is in the bathroom, she starts hearing things, and she says she will hear them. Daniel also receives an email from Mary saying that he can't trust anyone and only trusts her. Shelly in the room is waking up because of an alarm sound, and she moves the furniture in the room to hold the door. She then slashes her hand, and suddenly there are voices. People come to their house and break the camera around it. Daniel, who sees everything from the camera room, panics and he comes out with his camera. He tries to barge into the room, and when he succeeds, Shelly is not there. 2 days have come and gone, but Shelly is still not coming back. No ransom comes to the house. Even the detective who should look for his wife gets suspicious of him. He then receives another email from Mary Q saying that his wife will return in 6 days. When he asks if she knows where his wife has gone, she only replies that he will know about it in 6 days. On the 6th day, Shelly indeed comes back. She says that she doesn't remember anything. Even the detective who comes after that only says that they will close the case. Shelly also stops her fertility drugs and says she doesn't want to try anymore. Daniel feels everything is weird, but Shelly tries to convince Daniel to forget everything. The next day, Daniel wakes up with Shelly beside him. Her sleepwalking has been cured. Dr. Lopez also says that Shelly now is normal. After that, the detective comes. He says that police have caught kids who said they have broken the camera of Daniel's house. Shelly then says that they will not continue to press charges against the kids. Daniel feels something is weird, but can't say anything against the two people there. Daniel then sees news about the LV virus. The doctor starts to say that the vaccine is no longer needed and they should just live with the virus since they're fine even after being contracted. At this time he hears sounds in the house. Shelly uninstalls all the cameras in the house. Daniel also believes that Shelly is fine now, so he also uninstalls the other cameras. He also shares to his followers that Shelly has gotten better now. But then he starts seeing Shelly let out the weird voice again. He also gets an email from Mary Q saying that she's not her wife and that she's not human. Because of this, Daniel then installs small cameras in the house. Shelly acts weird when Daniel is not home. But then she finds all the cameras and they have a quarrel. Shelly gets angry and she wants to leave. Daniel disagrees and Shelly hits the wall accidentally and she faints. So Daniel ties her up and asks her questions. When Shelly doesn't cooperate with him, Daniel cuts Shelly up and he finds there are worms in her blood. Daniel asks her what happens and Shelly just tells him to put her friends, the worms, on the floor, somewhere safe, and let her go. This makes Daniel angry and he steps on the worms. Shelly screams and lets out weird voices again, and then a UFO flies above their house. When Daniel sees from the window, numerous people are in their yard and they have the same pose as Shelly. Daniel is going to open the door, but Shelly says that they're going to kill him if he opens the door. She says that they are aliens and Shelly has become one with them. If he kills Shelly, then millions of people out there will also die with her. There are sounds at the door and the detective, also Dr. Lopez, gets inside the house. Dr. Lopez then explains that the LV virus is their way to incubate in the human body. They can't let go of Shelly because their kids, those worms, are compatible with her body. Even Daniel's body cannot be used. Daniel wants his wife, so he wants to take Shelly to go. But the detective does not allow that. He beats Daniel up and wants to kill him, but Dr. Lopez stops him. At this time, Daniel takes the knife and stabs the detective. Dr. Lopez then hurries to slash his hand and touches the wound to check on the worms. The worms are safe and they decide to keep Daniel alive. The people outside are magically gone just like that. Shelly says that Daniel's wife is not gone, they just influence her. But because Daniel cannot take it lying down, so they will leave, with Shelly and the baby in her stomach. Daniel then threatens to tell everybody. Dr. Lopez says that normal people will think he's crazy, and people like them will be influenced by them. Then Mr. Kate comes in after they are all gone. He says that Mary Q is him, and his sister is taken by the alien. He gets Daniel out of the house when a police siren is nearing the house. Then news about the LV virus's alien is asked to CDC's doctor, and he says that it's not right. The next scene is pictures of news reporting that Daniel and Mr. Kate is a wanted criminal. Shelly is reported to be missing, and her husband is responsible for it. The detective is dead, and Dr. Lopez is making his hospital bigger. Then the CDC is stating that getting exposed to the LV virus is a good thing, and the reporter says that the LV virus is a living alien. Also, the president states that there's election fraud because aliens are taking over the earth. The last thing is that people who have immunity to the LV virus are deemed as threats. And that is the end of this The Thing Inside Us movie. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on the notification bell to keep the updates from our channel. See you in the other movie story, and bye.